Joe Keohan, 54. I am from Staten Island, New York, and I've been in the program now going on 7 months. Yeah, so prior to the program, I wasn't feeling good about myself. I was drinking a lot. I was working remotely from home. It's a very isolated job, front-end web development. I just started to escape, the chaos of work and things with my marriage, so I just started to drink more and more and more. Drinking at 5 o'clock, to drinking at 2 o'clock, to drinking at 10 o'clock, to putting whiskey in my coffee. I never considered myself an alcoholic, more like an addict in general. I realized, woof, this is a really bad road to be walking down, and it's kind of scared me, and I said I had to change. Like, I can't do this, and I started to retreat from my marriage and just put Netflix on and just watch. Tell my wife I'm working, but I'm actually just watching Netflix and having beers and like, oh, it's time to go to bed, I gotta go to bed. So I just felt like things were just slipping away. And I was putting on weight, eating Cheetos as I'm drinking 2 IPAs, some really strong IPAs as I'm watching some Netflix show. And I realized, this is not the way to live. I'm dying. This is just a way to die slowly. And I said I had to change. I needed accountability. I felt I needed inspiration from others. And so I kind of came across Chris's posts and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Kind of like what this guy's talking about. I like the directness. You want to change your life, you got to do this, you got to be there for your family, take care of yourself. And so, I just reached out, scheduled a call, spoke to Chris, a little intimidated with the phone call. And so I thought about it, for a few days, and it stayed in my head. I think the last thing Chris said is just like, if you put it off, your motivation's just gonna keep slipping away. And I know that, right? I'm inspired to do the thing. I don't do the thing. A week later, it's like the thing isn't as important. 2 weeks later, it's just kind of, would have been nice to do the thing back then. So I just called him up, joined. My wife was on board with it, and I just, went balls to the wall with it, man. I just said, let me do it. I think at the time I weighed maybe 172. I'm pretty thin, I'm 5'9.5". I've never been 172, and I wanted to lose, I wanted to drop down to like 150. It took me about, 5-6 months, but I dropped down to like, weighed myself the other day, 148. I lost the weight and I gained the muscle. I feel great. I take off my shirt and I look at myself and I'm like, I can't believe you look like this. For 54, I look better than the 30-year-old guys in here that have been doing it. And I just feel like, man, I can do it. Anyone else can do it. And at 54, I want to inspire my kids and to be like, wow, Dad, he's the oldest guy at the school picking us up, and look at him compared to the other father. He's got so much energy, he's always doing something. So physically, it's been a great experience. The calls, I think for the first, 3 months, I didn't miss a call. It was that important to jump on the calls because you want to be inspired. Listening to Chris talk and his experience and his stories really helped me understand, wow, that is who I want to be. I want to be like that. And then listening to everyone share their stories too, listening to the struggles and the successes, and then knowing I need to talk too. Being on the call isn't enough. So I'd have to force myself sometimes to be like, all right, I'm going to speak and say what's going on in my life. And what I've realized is, and I think we all know it from personal development, you are who you surround yourself with. If I could surround myself with these men physically every day, I would make a lot more progress in my life, right? Because their auras, their personalities would just rub off on me, and there'd be more people to inspire me and for me to inspire them. So I feel like the one takeaway from the retreat, we have the opportunity to change things for all eternity, for generations to come. They may never know me. My grandkids may never know who I am, but the things that I'm gonna do and teach, that will echo for generations to come. That's the legacy that we all have the opportunity to do. Every decision that we make is incredibly important because it does affect people in our lives. That's one of the biggest takeaways that I got from the retreat, is that we just have to do the best with the tools we have.